Hey, it's Carrie, and I'm back with Test That Craft. This is the down and dirty of what happens when you try a craft out for the first time. What works, what doesn't, how much do things cost, and my true, honest opinion of this craft. It's not prettied up, it's not photoshopped or anything, although I do edit out the boring bits, like when I need to go get a glass of water or eat my snack, because some of these crafts take some time. Anyway, today I am going over what happened when I tried to make yarn balls. So, let's get to it. Okay, so first you're going to need some balloons. I got my balloons at the dollar store. So it was $1 for that whole package of balloons. Pretty awesome. Then you can blow them up to various sizes. I did buy a fairly larger balloon. It was the 12-inch ones, and you can get smaller ones, which might make it a little easier. The larger you blow it up, the more balloon shaped it gets. So if you want your yarn balls to be perfectly round, you got to buy the round balloons, which they do have, or not blow them up so big. So then you can make your mix. It takes cornstarch and water and then an entire bottle of glue. And I did get my glue from the dollar store also. I did not use Elmer's glue, some off-brand called Jot, and it worked just fine. So then you take your twine, is what I'm using here, and it works best if you just unwind your twine right into the mixture, because then when you pull it out, it's just going to come straight out and it's not going to tangle or get knots into it. It's just going to lift right out. Make sure that you have covered your work area for this craft, because this is messy. If you can do this outside, I'd highly recommend that, because I got glue everywhere. It splattered everywhere and it was super messy. Make sure that you're holding on to the end of your string whenever you cut it off, so that you don't lose it in the glue, because then you got to dig it out and it gets even more messy. So you just wind and wind and wind. One thing I did learn while I was doing this, that you really have to squeeze off the glue. Otherwise, you're going to get all sorts of little pieces of glue stuck onto the yarn and the twine still after you pop the balloon, and then you got to scrape that all off, and it just looks a little messy. So you're going to want to squeeze off the glue as you're winding. So again, super messy. Holy cow. Yeah, you can just see the glue starting to just drip right off in globs as I'm winding that around and around and around. So you can wind as much as you want or as little as you want. Here I decided on my twine ball that I wanted lights wrapped up inside it. So I did my first layer of twine there. I let that dry a little bit. Not the whole way, because I'm impatient like that. And so then I wrapped around my battery operated lights on top of that twine until I reached the end. It was a little difficult. The wiring kept wanting to slide right off, but I got it. And then I wrapped the twine on top of the lights to set those in there so they wouldn't move around. And that was really fun. I enjoyed that, and I really like how that turned out. So there I'm just winding and winding and winding with the twine. The twine worked out really good. I liked that. Set up nicely. I didn't squeeze off enough glue as I was winding though, and I'm gonna have to trim off all sorts of little dried glue bits. So here I'm using a different yarn. I am using here Soft and Shiny Loops threads, 4mm, and that one worked out really well. For the white yarn and the teal yarn, I used a 6-ounce Caron Simply Soft yarn, and that one worked out really, really well also. For one of the balls though, I used a Yarn Bee Tender Touch yarn that was 100% acrylic, 6mm knitting needle yarn, and it was super fuzzy, and that did not turn out well at all. That just came out all sorts of gooiness and all sorts of extra glue everywhere. So yeah, don't use the fuzzy yarns. They don't work. And I think, yeah, it just did not come out nice at all. So the thinner yarns with no fuzziness work really good, and the twine worked really good. So, and then you got to decide how many of these yarn balls you're going to do, because one thing of glue only got me 3 balls, and I had to stop and go get more glue. And as you can see here, I changed up my glue container because I was using my nice glass bowl and I didn't want to use that anymore, and so I picked up a plastic bowl while I was at the dollar store, and dang, I got the last glue they had there. So here I was trying to see if I could just do half of the balloon and maybe just get sort of a bowl shape, but that didn't work out at all. I didn't think that through. You really have to go around the entire balloon. So if you want to get like bowl shapes, you're just going to have to do the whole balloon and then cut it afterwards into a bowl shape. And here we're doing more and more wrapping of the balloons. You can wrap it as much or as little as you like. The more you wrap, the denser your ball is going to be, and it's going to stay a better shape. If you don't wrap it very much, it's going to be a little easier to crush, for one thing. And also, I actually skipped a step here. A couple of the instructions that I was reading said to spray your balloon with a cooking spray, and then that would help make it easier to get the balloon out. And I didn't do that, and it might have made it easier to get the balloon out. So this was a pretty fun and easy project. It was pretty quick, only took me like a day and a half to do, and you get a really fun project out of it. Super easy, good for kids too, I think. Here's where I'm drying the balloons. I dried them outside on a clothesline with clothespins, and boy do they drip. So both the dog and the cat got drips. And then here they're finally dried. This is the next day. I did let them dry overnight. So then you take one of your balls and you start poking the balloon off of the yarn, and This is the fuzzy ball. You can see that the glue just got all over and it came out super fuzzy, and I didn't like that one. And I didn't end up using it for anything just because it just looked so messy, and I just didn't really like the aesthetic of that one. This is the twine one, and you can see I'm just sort of poking the balloon all over with my thumbs and fingers and pushing it off that twine. And then you just grab a pin and poke it and it pops, and it'll still stick a little bit because, yeah, I didn't use the cooking oil spray. And but you can pull it off pretty easy, and if it your shape dents or goes out of shape, it just can pop right back out. It's not too bad. These white yarn balls, those ones came out really nice. I squeezed off the glue really well as I was doing those, and those ones, the string, the yarn just looked really good. Here we are poking the balloons off, and then you just sort of work your balloon off your string and your yarn. Although, yeah, I'm totally thinking I should have tried that cooking spray tip. So you guys should try that. Let me know how that goes down in the comments. So let's see, I got 4 more balloons to pop. This craft does take some time. It took me probably a couple hours to string all the balloons, just because, oh dear Lord, it's a gooey mess, and I had to wash my hands between each balloon because that was driving me nuts. And then you have to let them dry, and it does do better if you let them dry overnight. I let mine dry outside up until the evening, and then I brought them back in after they had dried relatively well and had at least stopped dripping everywhere. So, and make sure to test the bottom of your ball first to make sure that's dry before you start popping them. In the morning, no, there's my dog. That's Marty. He has to be by my side almost all the time. So anyway, I decided to hang my yarn balls on this nice stick here using some more twine. And then here I'm trying to get off all those little shards of glue that are still stuck on there. I used an X-Acto knife, and you don't have to press hard at all. You just sort of scrape a little bit along all the edges. I mean, you don't want to press too hard because then you'll just cut right through your yarn. But it worked out really well. I got most of all the glue off there. And if you're better at squeezing off the glue as you go, you probably won't have to do as much of this as I had to. And I did this outside because, dear Lord, it makes a mess. There's glue everywhere. Especially when you pop them, it makes a mess. So you might want to pop them outside also. So here I am hanging all of my yarn balls. Except the gray fuzzy yarn one. I'm not using that one. And I'm going to do something different with the light up one also. So, but the white and the teal ones are all going to go on this little branch. It did come out sort of huge. It's about 3 feet long, and then I've got the 2 large yarn balls and the 3 smaller yarn balls going on there. But it came out nice. I like it. I think it's a super fun craft to do. You can do it in any color scheme, any different size balls that you'd like to use. And then you can finish it up in any type of creation that you'd like to do. I saw some really cute pink and white ones for a mobile in a baby's room. But there's mine. And then this is the light up one. I really like the light up one. It came out really cool. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet though, but I'll figure out something. Okay, this is the shaggy yarn ball. Didn't like the shaggy yarn ball. Here's the twine ball. Still need to take some of the glue off of that. This is my densest yarn ball. Came out nice. And then the teal yarn ball. Still need to get some of the glue off of that. There it is with most of the glue off. And then the white yarn balls, those ones came out the best. Really like those. And then here's a couple of pictures of the finished project hanging outside on my deck. Okay, please hit the thumbs up if you liked my video and subscribe to get more great videos on testing out crafts for the first time and seeing how they go. You can follow me on Pinterest and Facebook. Here's a couple more of my videos that I've done. And if you have any suggestions, put them down in the comments and I will try them out. Thanks for watching.